Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Magic Bricks Hangout series. Our endeavor is to trigger a buy and bring back consumer confidence in the real estate market. Today, we'll be discussing about the investment hotspots in Pune. To discuss on the same, we have Ms. Gunjan Goyal, Director, Goyal Ganga Developments, Mr. Alagar Swami, Vice President, Sales and Marketing, Goyal Ganga Developments. Goyal Ganga Developments believe in a legacy of class, endless creativity, and enduring innovation. Extending the horizon in Pune from north to south and east to west, the organization has developed a myriad of commercial and residential projects across the city. Ms. Gunjan Subhash Goyal studied design and management from Parsons New School in New York. After graduating, she joined Goyal Ganga Developments and now is associated with the organization from the past 5 years. I also welcome Mr. Swami. His experience comprises of creating many landmark projects, catering to a number of regional, national, and international companies, which dots the cityscape of Pune in the last 3.5 decades. I also welcome E. Jayashri Guru. Jayashri has over 25 years of experience in content and research and is a specialist in the skills and real estate domains. She has been a business journalist for over 2 decades with the Times of India, the Economic Times, and the Financial Express. She's a regular guest columnist on a number of established media, including the Times Group. Without any further delay, I hand over the session to Jayashri.
Thank you, Pushpa. Welcome, Gunjan. Welcome, Swami. This is quite a pleasure having you here on a day where there have been very dramatic changes around the globe and in our country. Right? Let's first pick up the issue that we have started talking about, investing in Pune as a market. Gunjan, this is an interesting subject because this comes up repeatedly in most of our discussions, where people who want to buy, probably as future end users or people who want to park their funds in real estate, have been considering Pune as an investment destination. Would you like to talk about that in the beginning?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. So, like we've discussed in the past, and we've always come down to the same position. There are two kinds of buyers. There are the end users and there are the investors. Pune has always been a very strong market for end users from our experience of years. And that's why there's never, it's a very mature market. There's never been an irrational increase in price, and people always look at Pune to invest in. And rightly so, I think everyone who has invested in Pune has benefited with the increase in prices, especially in the micro markets, more than the actual saturated city areas. There are a lot of developments happening there, and people who invested have seen their profits gone up already. Right?
The investments are growing.
I'm sorry, what was that, Swami?
Investments are growing, and
Yeah.
investors or end users have not been disappointed while coming into Pune.
Yeah, actually, wild estimations of rise in income in property investment, that should not be the expectation. Like you said, the Pune market has been driven by end users, and the number of end users, the professional end users, because it is an IT hub, because there is a lot of manufacturing driver in the city. We do see that a lot of end users are there either as buyers or as lessees. They would like to take houses on lease and stay for as long as they are in the city. To that extent, it is a steady real estate market. But very quickly, let's address the elephant that's in the room, and that is the startling disclosure by the Prime Minister yesterday about the 500 rupee and 1000 rupee notes. Do you think that will have any impact on the real estate market? Because we've got a lot of queries from people.
I would say initially, obviously, there is going to be a disruption temporarily because there is a lot of confusion about how this is actually going to be implemented. And somewhere or the other, the cash element is present in all businesses in different proportions. And I guess the state is known to be one of the industries with a higher percentage of cash. But fortunately, us being in Pune, it is going to be a beneficial move for us because Pune is a very transparent market when you compare it to other cities. The cash versus check ratio is almost negligible. I think even for us as a company, we're doing 100% check transactions, so it's really not going to affect us majorly. a benefit in a way. It will make things smoother. It will create more confidence even in the buyer's mind to invest in property. So Pune, I think, in general, will be unaffected.
Okay. At this stage, Pushpa and Neha, I'd like you to read out our queries from our consumers so that I could take it forward.
Yes, Jayashree. The first query that we've received is from Govind Singh Sehrawat. He's asking, will the government's decision to demonetize affect the real estate sector?
That's what Gunjan spoke about just now. She's saying that in the Pune market, and we'll reiterate this, the real estate markets across the country work differently. The Pune market has been one of the most transparent markets, and it has been driven by professionals. Now, what you do see is when salaried professionals drive a market, it is more bent towards taking loans, formal finance, and therefore the cash component that plagues other markets, that kind of gets reduced. And in Pune, I think that's been one of the factors, right, Gunjan?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, is there, so will it impact the markets? Of course, it will impact many markets. But what Gunjan is saying is that in the Pune market, the impact is, it's more a structured market. It is a more formal market. And therefore, the impact will be far less. Right? Go on to the next query.
Johanna Gomes, she's from Pondicherry, and she's asking, what about the construction material industry? Will it be affected too?
That's interesting because I see this discussion happening even in the internet space. Gunjan and Swami, you may want to comment on this. Even while the developers are a structured lot, as you say in Pune, what happens to the materials market? The cement, the steel, the tiles, the floor. All kinds of materials are involved, and real estate is really an aggregation of so many other industries. How does that impact?
Most of the payments are check payments. I mean, there's hardly any again cash component involved, and it's a fast-growing market. You know, there's hardly any credit. It's a quick moving market. So I don't think this transparency will further stabilize the industry. That is our take on it.
Even materials like, say, badarpur, sand, all that is very structured across the market.
A lot of developers now are implementing these ERP systems, which accounts for the entire construction process, including the purchase, which helps us to bring in that transparency even then. So even the buying, I think, will really not be affected much from what we see.
Okay. Go on, Pushpa. Let's take the next query.
The next query is from Piyush Singh Gehlupra. He's asking, how can we be sure of the upcoming infrastructure? As you know, projects take time to complete. What if infrastructure development gets curtailed in the meanwhile?
Well, you can do two things. One is the external development. The link to financial capital Bombay is excellent. Already you have a multi-corridor highways connecting it. And secondly, it's very well linked to Bangalore and Hyderabad. That is in the external. If you see the internal, being declared as a smart city, there is a fund inflow of center and state governments pumping in. In the years to come, things will get better, and I think things will move much faster. So whatever sluggishness was there in the internal development of infrastructure, that will get speeded up with these sort of things like metro and all coming in.
You know, this has been a consistent problem for consumers. When there is infrastructure promised, infrastructure has a huge impact on real estate, right? If there is and we see that transport connectivity by way of metros, by way of flyovers, roads, enhancement or widening of roads, all this impacts real estate in a big way. Do you, as developers, also face this problem that consumers are facing, that infrastructure is promised but often gets delayed? And if so, how do you tackle that?
If we take a case point of Karadi, it's a magnet point. Like, you know, you have IT corridors happening there, like beyond IT park is there. So now we have an infrastructure which is existing. So people are happy to see that infra-ready structures are available. So our project Ganga Platino, which is one of the flagship projects, we see number of walk-ins and number of conversions taking place. Not only the regional, national, but also NRI crowd is also getting attracted to this sort of infrastructure ready. And there are a good number of names. I mean, you are very well aware how things are happening. And with the multi-corridor roads coming up, about 6-laners, 8-laners coming in that area, and you can look forward for more of township happenings in that area. In the very near future, things will be happening, like townships.
It's more like there's more development. So you require that infrastructure to support that development. And if it is slow, somewhere the developers do come together and push the government to, enhance that thing. Because it does, it creates a problem. It poses a problem for us to lead these new projects. And so it works well, I think. So far, it's, yeah.
In some places in western part of Pune, behind the Mercedes and near to Palivadi station, we have made roads so that
we ourselves getting into the development of the link roads.
So infra is catching up, not to the extent required, but things are happening. What I need to say is it will be swifter and faster in the coming months.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I think this is a message that it is a strong message that right now what's happening is bulk of the development is happening along structured corridors, normally transport corridors that lead out of cities, which are also driving the economic hubs. And here, like both Gunjan and Swami said, what really happens is that you see developers joining forces to get off-site infrastructure in place because it impacts the buyers across the corridor. And rather than having one developer building far away, which used to be the norm maybe about 10, 15 years ago, today you see a large number of developers getting together and saying that this is the area, which is the influence area, and can we work as pressure groups with the governments. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, precisely.
Okay, and for the consumer, that is good news because while each developer is marketing his or her own project, they're also working towards getting common infrastructure into the corridors, and that's good news for the consumer. It makes the place more livable. Let's take the next query. Pushpa?
So the next query is from Kamesh Patil, and he's asking, looking at the current scenario, what are the top things that a buyer should check before putting their money?
Yeah, and here, Gunjan and Swami, I'd like you to also address another issue. There is a lot of sale happening in the secondary markets as well today. And the secondary markets is one place where we have seen a lot of black money transactions, which is why the government has stepped in. Now, when a consumer is buying, this is something that we have been noticing a lot of consumers asking, should I go directly to the developer? Maybe part of the project is sold, maybe it is, coming into completion, and should I buy in that stage? What are the checklists that a consumer should carry with him so that his investment is safe and he can occupy the property faster?
Right. So, considering this is an end user we are talking about, I think his primary concerns would be location. Depending on where his workplace is, he wants to be as close to his workspace. And these days, there are all these IT hubs that are coming in the east and west of Pune, they really have become magnets of residential neighborhoods that are popping up around them. And so location is, of course, a key element that we should look at. Secondly, I think it's very important to mention secondary markets, to mention builders, who are just coming up, like they have one-off projects coming up. So he should really go with a reputed builder in that case. With these delays, there is so much speculation on that. So he should really do his research, find a builder who's been in the market. I would probably say someone like us with a 32-year legacy, you know that he has been in the market for that long and for a good reason. So because he promises delivery and a good quality product. After that, I think approaching the right financial institute for his loans, considering whether how quickly he requires the apartment to move in, so going for a project already half into construction, kind of speeds up the process, and he knows, yes, the building is going to come up sooner than something that is not started already. So I think these are the key elements that he needs to consider when he comes to project.
Schools, colleges, entertainment areas.
Yeah, proximity to social infrastructure also. Malls, theaters, hospitals.
Otherwise, ROI.
ROI on that area. These days, these micro markets which have emerged are seeming to give a better ROI because the prices there are escalating faster than neighborhoods which are already established or saturated. So,
Right. You're spot on actually. When very quickly to summarize what you're saying, you have to look at a place which is accessible to your workplace. You have to look at a place which has social infrastructure like schools, hospitals, retail malls. The conveniences that make your life livable. You also have to go with a developer who has a track record of delivering quality, because ultimately both delivery on time and delivery of quality are things that are going to impact you. And another thing that you are saying is, be near economic corridors, it impacts your return on your investment. Maybe you enter as an end user, but at some stage when you exit that investment or you decide to move on, you must be in a place where you get it's easy to sell and you get a good return on whatever you bought. Is there something I've missed from what you've said?
Yes.
no, you've covered everything, yes.
Okay, let's go on to the next query. Pushpa?
Yeah. The next query is from Jeevan Das. He's asking and saying that the real estate sector was already sluggish. Will the demonetization further impact the transaction deals, as some percentage of payment always takes place in cash?
Now, you see, this might be from a different city, but I think it's worth considering. First of all, let's break that question into two parts. Has the Pune real estate market been sluggish, and if so, by what percentage?
There was a slug all through the nation, but Pune fortunately experienced the least brunt of that. What we saw in terms of statistics on the unsold inventory in the last year, the age of the unsold units was negligible compared to the bigger metros. Because, like going back to what we said previously, Pune is a very mature market, and there are very irrational increases in price. So that is what has really helped, and from what we've seen, the last 2 quarters have been excellent for us in terms of sales. They've been much higher compared to, of course, the previous year. There was a slight slowdown, but the mid-housing segment is booming. There is no slowdown there at all.
Mhm. What parts of the market, which segments of the market have actually started picking up?
Mid segment is speeding up.
Yeah.
Affordable segment is also
I
there.
think sometimes 40 to 75 lakhs, that is the bracket which is performing well right now.
So the 40 to 75 lakh is the sweet spot of the Pune market. If you're building in that segment, that's where the consumers are looking for to buy right now. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah. What about the luxury market? In market after market, we've seen that there has been lots of luxury properties where the overhang has been noticed. Is that happening in Pune as well?
It is, yeah. Compared to the affordable segment, the luxury segment is slower selling. But again, having said that, for us, we do a whole range, right? We go from the lower mid segment to the
Yeah.
high-end luxury. And what we have noticed is the luxury has also picked up in the last quarter. It's all
Mhm.
small, and even our luxury is performing well. Of course, it's slower compared to the mid affordable segment, but it's picked up and it's performing well at the moment.
Then
Okay.
the segment. So accordingly,
In proportion to that, it's
proportionally,
exactly. Yeah.
So will the consumer, is it good for a consumer to enter into this market at this point of time?
If it's an end user, of course, the quality of construction that's happening, and, with all this automation and everything that we're offering in our projects, it's a wonderful product to buy, and, so yes.
Yeah. And even if I am from another city, or if I don't intend to immediately stay in Pune, is it a good time for me to enter the Pune market? Because the demand from the rental markets are also steady.
Right. So as an investor, we would advise them to go into the micro markets that are involved. That is the pseudo extensions of the already established neighborhoods, because that is where we're seeing the prices really appreciating rapidly. And for an investor, that is the key factor when you're looking at investing. So yeah, if we invest in these upcoming neighborhoods like Dharamvi, Pagoli, and in the west, say Wakad, Soot, these are really giving good returns right now. So there's no problem. Investors can easily invest.
So when I'm suppose I'm not from the city and I'm buying into I'm looking at locations. How do I shortlist the locations? Like you said, Bagoli, Wakad. These are good places for me to enter as an investor because these are picking up right now. How is there any rule of the thumb that you would like to suggest to our consumers?
Yeah, if you see the markets which are prevailing in Pune market, the
Mm,
western side is Hinjewadi, that's
mm,
which attracts a lot of interest from the customer and
yeah,
their needs. On the eastern side, you have Eon IT Park, and
yeah,
that areas comprising of Karadi, Magarpatta, Keshav Nagar, and Bagoli. And Karadi is
yeah,
a prime point there. And also Viman Nagar, since it is saturated, some of the areas which can be looked into from the midpoint segment point of view would be Dhanori. Dhanori is
yeah,
again a point where investments in the scale of 40 to 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs is attracting a lot of crowd.
yeah,
And can be a center point. Connectivity is excellent to airport, the DCMC areas, Shivaji Nagar, and also to railway station areas. So these are some of the areas which always any family would look into before getting into any investment angle or staying at.
yeah,
These areas have also witnessed a much higher growth in the infrastructure. The social infrastructure is excellent in the west and east, so the Hinjewadi and Kharali belt that Mr. Swami mentioned. Pune is known as an educational hub, so there are established colleges and schools around these areas. There are hospitals, and so it's really a self-sufficient area, and that is what a consumer should look at. Something which, of course, is work safe. Other than that, his accessibility to these other necessities, and then
right.
Even the it
And
attracts
if you, I'm
segment.
sorry.
Student segment is one more magnet point. Because people come here to study from the regional districts like Kolhapur, Solapur, Ahmednagar, Aurangabad, and Nasik, surrounding district areas. Apart from this regional point, you have students coming from Delhi and other capitals of the country. Even international students are coming. So as a result, once they finish the study, they are looking in for an internship and a good point of job getting, which is a good hub for Pune, which caters to their needs. And once they get acclimatized to working in this area, they seem to prefer Pune as a hotspot point, as
and
a city.
Pune is known to employ the highest number of students.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you get the raw material, which is whether you require an engineer or a doctor or a graduate, all these raw materials are available readily to the employees.
Yeah, sure, sure. Pushpa, can we go to the next question? How much more time do we have?
We have maximum 5 to 10 minutes session.
Okay, let's go to the next question so we can accommodate a few more quick queries in this session.
Next query is from Rohit Singh and he's from Pune. He's asking, what should I buy in Pune? A ready to move in or under construction property? What do you recommend keeping in mind delays in delivery of projects?
Yeah. Gunjan, this is something that consumer after consumer wants to know. Earlier, we never had the option of ready-to-move-in properties, but increasingly we've seen that because of the slowdown and because the market has been sluggish for a period of time, you do see ready-to-move-in properties as well, where the construction risk is, or the risk of delay in handover is much less for the consumer. But what would you suggest in the Pune market? Because you do end up paying a little more for ready-to-move-in than for under construction projects.
If you see the profile of people who are preferring to buy an apartment now, 35% of the segment would prefer to buy a ready-to-move-in apartment.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a job and the EMIs can be transferred into, the rent will not be paid. So there is no double payment involved there. So that is one point. 35% of the segment will look for ready-moving. And other ones like 1 year to 2 years would be the segment, about 20 to 40% would be coming into that. And the long-term view, as an investor or other segments will pull into the next segment. So that is how. And all these three segments are fortunately available with us. We are ready to move in or under construction or for construction 2 years. Whatever time frame the customer needs are there, accordingly we cater to them.
Yeah, really his requirement.
His requirement is prime here.
Yeah, requirement is prime.
So he dictates the requirement here.
Okay. If I was a young buyer and I have a limited budget, is it safe for me to go into a project that's just launched or very early stages of construction in Pune?
Builders of development like Goenka, you must always go. That is where we stand out. The standpoint is that, and most of us we have repeat buyers. From the referral point, if you say the customers are coming back, that's a good sign that you have reliability factor and a safety net built into the customer anxieties. So we are fulfilling this anxiety of long-term purchase fund.
Right.
We have lots of young people who have started working, who are investing.
Sometimes what happens is the not so reputable builders who are in the market for a quick kind of sell, they really bring the prices down, which sometimes influences the buyer. It's like, oh, it's the same periphery in terms of location. Why should I not opt for something which is cheaper? But again, we should understand that there is a reason why reputed builders demand a certain price, because there is an assurance from them and confidence that we have that they will definitely deliver that product on time versus yeah.
So don't go for the lowest price. Go for the best quality and go for reliability because it is a very large investment. Pushpa, probably the last query of the day. Can we have the next query, please?
Yeah. Next query is from Deepak Singh and he's also from Pune. He's saying, I'm looking for a 2 BHK apartment in West Pune and would like to know about your preferred locality. Where shall I buy?
Now, this is an interesting query. He knows he wants to be in West Pune, but now he's looking for localities. So maybe a checklist of how do you shortlist your locality.
In the Western Pune, he's looking for, we have, in the Western Pune, we have one-year extension project. That would suit him very well. We call it a cyclable distance. Why we call it cyclable distance? Because if, assuming that he's working in Hinjawadi area, and if he buys with us, he can easily cycle to work. And apart from cycling to work, even the places of necessity, like D-marts and the stores and restaurants around, those distances are also cyclable. Even the prominent stadium like Balewadi is also in the walkable distance.
And the expressway.
And the expressways existing between Pune and Bangalore. So accessibility is very good, excellent. And again, the revaluation, ROI, all the factors already stated stands out to be the reason that
the appreciation would be higher in this area versus Abane, which is already kind of happy.
So those will be higher, but you can look at it's like a ripple effect. If you drop a stone in the water, there is a ripple. Similarly, if the peak locality is something that you can't afford, but if you look at the localities that are in its immediate surroundings, those live off the main localities, but you get many advantages of, like they said, cycle to work, walk to work, accessibility, newer construction. These are some of the advantages, right? Is there anything you want to add to that?
Less crowded. Less crowded, and when you're looking at residential, it's nicer to have something which is not gone down by a lot of commercial development. To have that correct distance from it.
Right.
that makes it more affordable for more number of customers.
And long term, your returns are better. If you invest in early stages, your returns in the long term are always better.
Exactly, you're paying less now and you're gaining more later. So it's a win-win for them.
Going with the definition of ROI established, like in Karabi, you paid 1,000 rupees about 5-6 years back. Today it is 1,500. It stands to reason that when we have an established ROI, our customers should give the first look to us before us.
Right.
Gunjan and Swami, it was such a pleasure hosting you on this show. I think the number of queries we're receiving is far more than what we have answered. And we would like you to please come back to our forum. It is the Magic Bricks discussion forum where consumers are constantly asking. And to consumers, I would like to say we would like to bring experts like Gunjan and Swami to regularly answer your queries. And if you have a query, keep posting it with us. And we'll make sure that these experts are always answering you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rishi. It was a pleasure chatting with you. And we will log in and try and answer as many queries as we can. And
Thank you. Have a great day.
speaker, Ms. Gunjan and Mr. Swami, for participating in this Hangout session. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all the participants for their support in making this Hangout a great success. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.